Morning everyone and welcome back to the channel. Firstly, please excuse the banging in the background. There is a house being built literally 20 metres that way. So they're kind of 100 mile an hour with a nail gun. Just slight caveat before the video starts. So I'm doing a video today about a little bit more in depth about the VL ECU install, conversion into the RB or into the 31. I've just noticed the Hercs are also flying over, so they're probably going to be loud as well. We have a RFF base not far away from here. So yeah, doing a video a little bit more in depth about the ECU install. I had one of the comments on a previous video where I kind of did the ECU install, wanting to know a little bit more detail about the wiring and stuff like that. So I figured why not just go like proper in depth. Here's how I do it start to finish. Everything down to how to take the kick panel off and that sort of gear. It's going to be a little bit more detailed than the last one, or actually it's going to be a lot more detailed than the last one that kind of touched over the ECU and the injectors and everything else. So yeah, hopefully it gives you all the info you need, and hopefully you can follow along and the wiring stuff matches up as well, because there is a few issues where these old Japanese cars, they sometimes used, if they ran out of wire, they used what they had laying around, so that doesn't always match up, but generally in the main ECU points, they should be all exactly the same. So nice and easy. Hopefully it doesn't take you too long. Hopefully you can follow along. Obviously, if you have any questions at the end of the video, feel free to drop them down below and I'll answer any questions that you might think of or I might have missed to the video. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy and it helps you out. Okay, so first things first, for those that don't know, the ECU is located inside the passenger side kick well to the front left-hand corner. So passenger side, door, we're down in there. So it's actually located behind this little panel here. So we'll get that off and we'll go from there. Okay, first things first, apologise for the mess all over the carpet. I've been working on this car and it hasn't actually had a clean since last wet pan, so it's a bit filthy. So, kick panel here, ECU is buried behind here. You can use the two little access holes here. They've usually got bungs on them. I've taken them out. You can actually view the warning lights and you can set the idle speed up here as well. We'll see that in a second when we take the panel off. One screw holds it in here and there's a little tab locator up the back here that holds it in. I've already taken the screw out. I think we all know how to take a screw out. Little Phillips head, round cap-head Phillips head thing. That comes out pretty easy. To get this out, you need to lift a little bit of trim here, pop the panel out from underneath, and then pull this way because this little tab locates at the back here. So you pull it out and you kind of got to figure the bottom down and kind of wheel its way out. So that's out. So you can see this little locator here holds on this little tab here, so it slides in and around it. Hence why I need to pull it out outwards, not pull it this way rather than just yank it straight out. That way you'll tear it off. So as you can see, ECU is under here. Bracket that holds it on, there is two bolts here that hold it on. You can get this cable out the way, or your cables and stuff, carpet out the way, or your cables and terminations and stuff are down the bottom here. So these two here will take it off. This actually circles around underneath and kind of supports it from the bottom. We'll see that in a second as well. These are a 10mm, use a socket or a spanner to loosen them off. I have given it a loosener just to make this video a little bit quicker. I think you all know how to undo bolts. If we don't, you probably shouldn't be doing this sort of stuff on your car. Easiest way is, once they're loosened, Phillips head screwdriver in them. Obviously, if someone's fiddled around with yours, it may be slightly different bolts that get on there. If someone's already done some work on the ECU or something like that. And take those out, set them aside. Okay, ECU is out. Right. Wiggle this out nice and carefully around the carpet. Trying not to bust anything. And there's a tab, I don't know if you can see it in here. You can just up the top here. There's this little tab here that kind of retains the top of the ECU. So you've kind of got to up and over the carpet and sort of finagle it around as you go, nice and gently. There's a bunch of little small wires on the back of it. Cool. So, ECU is loose. That's your main wiring loom. Well, there's actually 3 plugs that go in there. This stuff here is all what I've done for the relay and the ECU. So I'll take some videos and photo of that, and then I'll draw it up on a whiteboard to show you how to do it. But to get these plugs off, you've got 3 different plugs. All of them have a little tab that you can push down. Don't ever try and force an electrical tab. If you do, it's probably not supposed to come out. So you can push that down and give it a bit of a wiggle side to side. It's a tight fit, but you should feel it, you should see it and feel it kind of wiggling a little bit as you go, and it comes out nice and easy. No real force, just a little bit of patience. These two kind of, I found, have to come out together because you can see they're sort of wrapped together here. I'm not sure if that's going to be too bright to show you or not. Let's move that so you can see a little bit better. So these two are kind of wrapped together. You will most probably have tape up to here as well. I've had to cut it off so I can actually access the cables I need. So again, push the little tab down, bit of a wiggle, and they come out nice and easy. ECU is now free. To change the ECU over, I'm not going to bother taking another car because I'm literally putting it straight back in again. There is 2 bolts or nuts, 2 bolts or screws depending on how it's been put in. Again, 10mm plus a Phillips head in the middle. You can turn this away so you can see it a little bit. It's not overpowering it. So you can see there's the 2 there. Undo those and it literally just slips off. Slip the new ECU in, do it back up. Pretty simple. There's nothing holding onto the top of the bracket up here. As I said, it's just that little tab up in here that retains the top of the ECU once you've got it all slotted in there. So that is how we remove the ECU. Installation, literally just the reverse of that. So for the actual cabling, now as I said, you'll most probably have this black electrical tape up here a little bit further. I've had to cut it back, and you will have to cut it back as well to expose the wires you need to expose. What I might do, easiest way of showing you this, because it's a little bit cramped for space, is I'll get photos of the back of the plugs, photos of how I've wired them up, and I'll draw it up on a whiteboard and show you a little bit easier. Essentially, don't worry about that, it's an accessory depending on different models. Use the same wiring lid on different models cars. Essentially, there is one you've had to tee into, and there's a couple that you've had to just join straight through, and one that you've got to terminate here. But as I said, I'll grab some photos, I'll draw up on a whiteboard, and I'll talk you through with the photos and the whiteboard at the same time, just to make it a little bit easier to show you what's going on. Okay, I'm going to try and put this in as simple and as layman's terms as possible to make it easy to understand, hence, nice little diagram. I will try and add photos where needed in, around, over, somewhere, just kind of show you physically what I'm talking about here, as opposed to the back of the plugs as well. So what we've got is your relay up here. Please excuse that, it's just not going to blow, it's not a bomb blowing up, it's my little RC charger going off to tell me a charger's ready. Please excuse the interruption. So this is the Nava relay. I'm using a Nava 12 volt 40 amp relay. I will insert a photo of it here so you can get the part numbers and stuff. It has a 30, an 85, 287 and an 86 pin. If you look on the back of it, kind of hard to get a photo now, I've got wires attached to it, but I'll try and stick one in. It'll actually have the numbers stamped or like molded into the plastic next to the pin, so you know which one's which. We have your 15 pin and your 20 pin. There is a third one, don't worry about it. We don't actually have to touch that at all. As I said, there's the 3 plugs on the back. When you're counting the pins, don't count the wires out of the back of the plug. Take the plug off and count the pin holes at the front. There'll be a 15 and a 20. Gonna have a mental blank. I think the other one is like a 30. It's a fairly large pin. It's very different. There is definitely only a 15 and a 20 pin plug that go into the back of your ECU. Third one, as I said, I think it's about a 30 something. It's a much bigger plug. So the 15 and the 20 are the ones you need to worry about. Off the back of the 15 pin, there will be one cable that is pure white. Will have no other colors on it. It won't be green, it won't have a stripe, it won't have anything. It will literally just be a pure white cable. Identify that one. What I do is I'll identify it and I'll put a bit of tape or electrical tape, something like that, around it, just so I don't have to then go and find it again every time I'm trying to do something. Find it once, put tape on it, you know which one it is. Out of the 20 pin plug, there will be a white with black stripe cable. So essentially it will be purely white and it will have, along the length of it, will have a thin black line down one side. Very noticeable, can't miss it. Kind of twist it around, you'll see it very, very clear. So you need the pure white one from the 15 pin, you need the white with black stripe from the 20 pin plug. You'll need a 12 volt ignition or a 12 volt switched source. You can use something off the back of the stereo. Got to keep in mind it needs a good 12 volts for the relay to actually action. So don't go putting on something that has a ton of load. If you've got a massive stereo system in your car and you try and hook that up to it, it's not going to switch. You have faults. Basically, if it drops below the 12 volts, it will disconnect. It'll have all sorts of issues that your fuel pump will basically cut out, because this is essentially tricking your car into thinking that's got the same fuel setup as the VL. The one I actually used was actually the back of the lighter. I don't smoke, never smoked. Scratch that. Don't smoke at the moment. Anyway, do not smoke. I've never smoked in my cars, should I say. The back of the lighter actually has, if you've got the same setup as I do, or any of your cars, it will have a 12 volt source, ignition source off the back of that. Essentially, it's a dead 12 volts until you turn the car on, then it turns on. So for this, anything goes off your accessories. Basically, if you turn it on, if you turn your car to accessories and it switches on, that's a 12 volt ignition source. Use any of those. You can find a ton of them behind the dash, splice into one of them, terminate with it, join it up. If you need to know how to do that, let me know. I'll try and find that. I should note, and I'll put a warning at the start of the video because I forgot to say it. Before you do any of this, disconnect your battery. Don't ever work on anything electronic in your car with the battery connected. It's dangerous for yourself because you can get a bloody good shock out of it. Even though it's a small little car battery, you can get a massive shock out of it. Amps what kill you, not voltage. Even though it's 12 volts, it still can put out an absolute crap ton of amps. That is what actually kills people. Also, causes damage to your car. If you short circuit something, if you cross wire something, if you fuck up the wiring, if you accidentally connect them while the battery's connected, it can blow your ECU, it can fry all sorts of stuff. Disconnect your battery first, please, people. The other thing you need is access to somewhere on the frame. I did take a photo and did show you in the first part of this video. I have actually earthed onto the frame itself, literally just behind the ECU. There's already a few things bolted on there. Really nice and easy to do. Doesn't have to be too long. The shorter the better, basically, essentially for an earth. So what we're going to do, the 15 pin pure white, we actually need to cut that wire. Give yourself a good bit of room to work. Hence why I took the old black electrical tape off the loom. Go back a little bit, give yourself a good couple of inches to work if you can. What we're going to do is we're actually going to cut that one completely. So we're going to cut that off. Now, this is where they plug into ECU. This is where it goes out. This way is to car. So this is ECU side. ECU side. That's to car. So for the 15 pin pure white one, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it. For the ECU side, put a terminal, a blank terminal. All I did was just cut it flat and wrap the crap out of it with electrical tape. So tape that off. We're actually not going to need that. It's actually going to be blanked off, essentially. The side that goes out to the car, this is going to go to pin 87. If you use the same relay, it's got 2 pins for 87. Doesn't matter which one you use. The other one's obviously easier to get to. I pre-wired these outside of the car, so I actually soldered wire onto these ready to go. So when I came back into the car, I didn't have to solder in the car. Then used push connectors, which you can see in the photos. Put push connectors on the end of these wires, and then all I had to do was crimp wires onto these when I needed them to put it all together. But however you want to connect it, solder, push connectors, whatever. The connections are the same. So ECU side, we're blanking that off. Loom side, we're connecting that to, that is connecting together there. So that's a straight connection to the loom side from number 87. For the white one, we're actually, for the white with black off the 20 pin, we're actually splicing into it. So we're not cutting it, we're actually just joining it. Now what I did for mine is I used a push connector. So my wire's there. I have the wire coming from pin 86 here. And what I did to splice it in was I cut this here. Hope you can see that. Cut that there. I then put these two together into one side of the push connector, twist them together, crimped it together in push connector on that side, and then join them together. So it ended up crimping them, so you got the two wires essentially twisted together, going into one push connector, and then your male on the other side going out to the loom of the car. Doesn't matter which way you do it, basically got to splice in. You can get splice connectors as well that are literally just a little crimpy connector that you feed the wire and then crimp it onto the wire you're splicing into. It's got like metal barbs and plates that essentially cut through and join the 3 wires up. But anyway, however you want to do it, 86 is going to go to here. So 86, again, I had it soldered on there already. We're going to join that. So this is splicing into there. So it's like a tee-off almost. Your 85 is going to go to the 12 volt ignition. So it's going to go up here. I'm crossing over and making a mess of this, but anyway. So 85 is going to go up to an ignition source. You don't have to fuse this. Can if you want. Extra safety's never a bad thing. I haven't, because I know this has got a fuse on the cigarette lighter anyway. And it's the only thing that's running off that now is just this relay, because I've disconnected the cigarette lighter. So it has got a 12 volt fuse in the fuse box. So sorry, not 12 volt, I think it's like a 10 amp. So it is fused already anyway, so that's fine. And then 30, as I said, is just connected to the car frame. I just screwed on with a tech screw onto, it's actually already a tech screw there holding another connector. I've just used that and screwed into the tech screw into there. So that is your wiring diagram. That is how you connect it up. I will obviously insert photos and stuff whilst I'm talking about it. So hopefully it all makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you need more clarity, please let me know. I know I'm probably going in circles, but I'm hoping that's clear enough for you to kind of follow and make sense of. If you need to know how to do these joins, if you need to know how to solder or use the crimp connectors, anything like that, please let me know. If you're at that level, this is probably not something you should be doing by yourself. Get a mate or a friend, Sparky, someone that knows how to do it, to come and give you a hand, because if you don't know how to do simple things like soldering and crimping, you probably shouldn't be screwing around with your car's ECU and your car's electronics. It is a recipe for disaster if you don't know what you're doing. I've been doing this for years. I've learned from a lot of mates. I've taught myself from a whole bunch of different bits and pieces. I also am electrical engineer trained, so I'm hands-on all this sort of stuff. Been in trade for years, so I know what I'm doing. At least I say I know what I'm doing. But be warned, caveat, I take no responsibility. If you want to follow this, this is purely education purposes only. I do not say this is gospel, but it's worked for me. So happy to follow along, but yeah, if your car blows up, that's on you, not on me. Yeah, so that is the wiring diagram. I'll pop it all in there. Hopefully you have just as much success as I do. Yeah, again, if you have questions, please comment below. I would be more than happy to explain a little bit further if you needed, or color diagrams or whatever. Okay, so once you finish your wiring, installation is exactly the reverse of the removal. The only difference is you've now got a little bit extra cable, you've got the relay and stuff that you have to mount in somewhere. You can screw that somewhere, you don't actually have to. What I actually did was just tucked it all. There's a little bit of a void here behind a couple of the power relays, like actual decent void. I literally just tucked it in there. The wiring loom kind of tucks up back behind here anyway and into there. So I just kind of tucked it all back in with that there. Obviously plug it all back in, tuck it in as you're mounting the ECU up. Your 2 screws for the ECU, panel back on, carpet back in place, and you're all done. So hopefully that all made sense to you. Hopefully you could follow along with it and all made sense. You could follow the diagrams and stuff. If you have any questions, as I said, if there's anything I missed or anything you're not 100% clear on, cabling connections, whatever, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll answer them all, whether video or just comment back if it's something nice and simple. But again, if there's anything else you want to see, if there's any other tips, tricks, if there's something you want me to go more in detail into, please drop a comment down below, because that's why I'm doing these videos. A, for myself to look back in multiple years' time and laugh at how shit I was, or how, long it took me to do simple things, but also to kind of keep a track of the journey, but also to educate you guys, because I know I learn a lot of this stuff by doing myself. I've learned a lot of it from YouTube videos. I've learned a lot of it from talking to other people, and it's not always that easy these days. A lot of people are sort of can be worried about putting their hand up and asking questions, thinking they're going to look silly, but I'm more than happy to go into detail in anything you need whilst I'm doing anything on this build at all. Just feel free to drop a comment, shoot me a message on any of my socials. Pretty easy to find. It's all Nathan W. Brammer. But yeah, outside of that, hope you enjoy. Hope it helped you out. And I hope you get your ECU installed, and yeah, everything's all mint from there. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment below, you know all the deal. Merch has dropped, new link, new store down below as well. Feel free to click on that and go check out some of the stickers and shirts and designs and stuff I've got. Some new cool little turbo snail designs, and have you had your daily dose videos? Sorry, designs, not videos. I'm recording a video, not selling videos. That's a different website altogether. Let's not go there. Anyway, take care, guys. I will see you on the track. Have an amazing time. Ciao.